Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's Nurse Donna. So today I have a guest and he's a nurse, so I'll let him introduce himself. But this is more about nurse talk, one-on-one nurse talk. Like I told you in my intro video, I'm bringing nurses on to give you like a insight of what they do. So here's my guest.
Hi, I'm Byron.
I'm just gonna get into this interview. Byron, what do you do as a nurse?
So I actually do surgery. I'm a surgical nurse in actual surgery, not like medical surgery.
So you a circulator?
So yes, so that's one of the jobs that a nurse can do in surgery. There's different other jobs but the main job is just being a circulator.
Working in the OR, do you delegate a lot, being like circulator part, right?
So yeah, so when you're the circulator, you're pretty much the person that runs the room.
Right.
So you make sure that everything is going in order.
Okay.
So you make sure that the cases it's pulled. We got the things that we need. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
You're documenting all of the events that are happening. It's the person that controls the room.
So if you want to become a OR nurse, so a lot of people come out of school like going to specialty, so I will call the OR like a specialty. You work in the OR. How long have you been a nurse?
So this year is my 8th year, but before that, I worked in the OR as a surgical technologist for 12 years.
Ooh, that's a long time. That's a long time. So he already had like a background in the medical field. So as a surgical tech, can you describe what you did as a surgical tech?
Oh, of course. So it's the person that second assists the doctor with the instrumentation. It's the person that's actually passing the tools and making sure that all of that stuff stays sterile, making sure the doctor has everything he needs ahead of time. It's the person that anticipates the doctor's moves.
Okay.
So if you're a really good one, you can pretty much follow along with the surgery and him not talk to you as much. You kind of get into a rhythm and a flow, and you know, with 12 years of that knowledge behind
you know the doctors.
Exactly.
Yeah. So were you on a certain surgical team?
So I worked in the evenings, so you kind of had to know a little bit of everything. Okay. But yes, even now in this current day, we have teams, but you know, having the background of working at night and knowing a little bit of everything, now I work the day shift, I'm more valuable as a person or as a nurse because I can do a lot of the services that are there.
Okay.
Circulating and scrubbing, which is the tech part of it, is one or two of the jobs that I do, but I also in that same time was resource nurse, which is a whole nother spectrum of the nursing. And
I never even heard of that. Look, see what I'm saying? This is why I wanted to do a YouTube channel, to give people insight, because I ain't never heard of that job as a nurse title. But you just never know until you start talking to people, asking questions. And that's me. I'm just one like, hey, what do you do? How you get into this? You know, and just people passing by through where you work, you will learn a lot of different backgrounds. So this video is really for, whomever that's in the medical field currently want to go over to nursing, whatever. Would you say that you knew a lot, like being like a surgical tech going into the nurse position? Was it easier for you to transition? The
transition was so easy because I've already been there for over a decade. So of course, you know, I had that inspiration to become a nurse. Yeah. Of course, I watched what the nurses were doing. Yeah.
So we will not say where he worked because we just don't want to do that. But hey, it is what it is. Would you want to do anything else besides working in the OR?
No, I think I found my niche. You know, some people, you know, seem to come in from a floor or the ER and they seem to think that it was, you know, I'm not knocking anybody, try it, but then it doesn't work for them. So, you know, it has to be your thing, you know.
Yeah, you gotta know your niche. In the nurse position that you are in now, are you still on a general surgery team, or do you see, because from what I know, I do have a friend that's a surgical tech, and she was basically in like transplants, doing like kidneys and stuff like that, and that wasn't her niche. Or you just general surgery, like I don't know, gunshot wounds? I don't know.
So the hospital I work for, we're not a trauma center, so we don't get any of the gunshot wounds. And if they do any kind of transplant harvesting and things like that, a company comes in and do those, so we don't usually be involved in those. We do a lot of elective surgeries and a lot of emergent surgeries. So most of the time, if it's somebody that's critically ill, it was like a patient that was in a unit that's dying of something. So
when you say elective, can you give people like an example of like the surgeries that you do in the
so if somebody's getting an elective surgery, it's usually like they're getting their gallbladder taken out, or they're getting a hernia repair, something of, things like that, or a total hip replacement and things like that. So you asked me about the teams earlier. So again, I would be considered to be on the general vascular team. We kind of combine some of the teams since we're not a large institution but not a small one, so we kind of put like two of the services together. But again, I have a knowledge of GU, GYN, orthopedics, ENT, so I get to do a lot of different surgeries. So it just all depends on the need.
Okay, I was about to say, do you do anything, you say vascular, it's like cardiac, anything cardiac wise, or no?
So
like a cardiac
we have the cardiac cath lab, but we also have a cardiothoracic team. And then the only time that usually we call when we not really separate, but the institution, we all share the same surgical unit. But the teams are, I don't want to, for lack of a better word, separated. They are separated. So usually the cardiac team only does cardiothoracic, and then we kind of stick to what we do, unless they're short and we need to go over and fill in and help, and vice versa.
Did you love your position?
You know what, I do. So like I said, I started out as a circulator, but in that time, of course, I went from circulator to resource nurse, and then I went from resource nurse to charge nurse. So that's what I currently do today. So my short 8 years went really fast in the same department.
So you're a charge nurse.
So,
that's big. That's big. That's a good thing. If he wanted to go somewhere else, he can put charge nurse at the top of his resume and he would get hired. Let me tell you something about nursing. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't go anywhere and do anything. And you can make the money.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a cap in nursing. It really isn't. Due to where we live. So we're from Missouri, however you want to say it, whatever. We're from St. Louis, okay? But the thing is, don't let anybody just knock you off your stand. If you want to go into nursing, do it. You have to try it. At least give yourself that chance, because you're going to always wonder, I should have went into nursing. But I know a lot of people that got into it and hated it or just quit. But like him, myself, hey, I love nursing. I do have a niche everywhere. So what is your schedule like in the
So my schedule now, it's rotating. And I want to just piggyback on one thing when you're talking about with nursing and doing a lot of other things. Most people don't understand that you don't have to actually work with patients. Now, you have to do it when you're in school, but you can work for insurance companies. You can piggyback it to another degree. Like, there's many different things that you can do in nursing, and you don't actually have to take care of the patients. Because that was one of my things. It was like, you know what? I know that I have to take care of the patients when I'm in school, but then once you go to surgery, there's usually 4 or 5 people in the room. You're never in a room alone with a patient by yourself. So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a little bit of a security blanket. Not that I'm saying I don't know my job and know how to do it. I do, and I do it well. But when it comes for a hands-on, one-on-one patient things, you're just never alone. Yeah. So if that's a fear or something that you really don't want to do, there's usually other people there, and there's many other different things that you can do in nursing that doesn't have to deal with actual patient care.
Yes. I agree with them. I really do. Would you say that you love? Do you still love? Let me redo the question. Would you say that you're still in love with nursing? Because you know there's a nurse burnout. You get burnt out. And that's why a lot of people quit, or they just don't want to do it anymore, or, they move on to something else. So would you say you still love it after 8 years of being in the medical field or the nursing game?
So, it's always a love-hate relationship.
I said that to my friend. It is. It really is.
It is.
I get it.
And, and right now, I do love it. And just to go back to your previous question with the schedule. So right now, the resource coordinator too, charge nurse, my schedule changed. So I always worked 5 8-hour shifts, and I was kind of getting burned out on that just because, you know, it was kind of like 51st dates. You know, you go, you wake up. Yeah, it was like, you know, you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to work.
That's a good example.
So I recently got a 3 12-hour shift that I've been on for almost 2 years now. And so it rotates. So I job share with the other charge nurse. So then we work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, off the weekend, work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So every other week I get 6 days off. So it's like
do you guys work holidays?
Yeah, so it's a 24-hour institution. We're not staffed for all 24 hours, but we have call teams for when we're not staffed.
So he take call.
So I don't, because I'm the charge nurse. But there are people, once upon a time I did take call, but I don't take call now.
Okay. So let me correct that. You know, everybody does not take call.
That's right. You know, that. In some of the positions, hey, you know, you negotiate.
You gotta, this is another thing. I ain't saying go in there with big kahunas after you get your nursing degree. I'm not saying that. Don't go on the floor thinking you know it all either. Because people will knock you down off your high horse really quick. Like, back to like not having big kahunas, what I mean is negotiate for what you want, but know your worth in nursing. You have to know that you are worth more than a fucking 12-hour shift on call. If you have family, pick what you want, okay? Starting out, because people are like, wouldn't you agree? People are in this, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a myth that when you get out of school, you got to go to the floor and work med-surg for a year, 6 months, what the fuck ever. I don't care what nobody say. Nowadays, they are training you straight out of school. They have these nursing residencies that you can get into, and they train you. Who, like I was saying, go for what you want, but don't go in there with big kahunas and know your worth. Point blank, period. Nursing, it's a lovely world, okay? I ain't saying I got the best job in the world. It's a love-hate relationship.
It sure is.
I do agree with him. Some days you fucking love it. Some days you hate it. Because I didn't have my days, okay? This is our last and final question. So, or suggestion, I guess. What would you like to give, or information you would like to give to whomever would like to become a nurse, nursing students, new grads, or just people that's still on the floor? Like, what kind of advice would you give them?
People that are in school, I would say hang in there. I've been there. I know it's tough, and I even had to repeat a semester. Don't let it bring you down. You can do this. Yes. I did it. She did it.
Okay.
So you can do it. And for people that want to become a nurse, even if it's a second career, because, you know, I went to school and there were a lot of people in my class and it was their second career. It's a wonderful career to do. Like I said, again, you don't have to do hands-on nursing with patients. There's many other things that you can do. I would say, you know what, go in there, give it your best shot. I mean, you won't regret it. You'll always have a job. There's a lot of money to be made there. And I'm not saying like with extra shifts and things, you get extra money doing it that way. But for me, myself, becoming a surgical technologist, becoming a nurse, becoming a resource nurse, becoming a charge nurse, I went from making this amount of money to almost 3 times the amount of money when I was a surgical technologist. So the money is most definitely there, and the job is challenging.
But it's not all about the money, babe.
It's not all about the money. So
I knew what you're saying.
Yeah. So I had an instructor, and I know you know the guy. He was saying. He would ask us something about nursing, and the answer that he didn't want is because I wanted to help people. But that's the first thing. If you don't want to help people, then there's no reason to be there. So it's like, he wanted you to like elaborate and go more into it. But the very first number one thing is that you got to be able to want to help people to do it. So even if you're not doing that hands-on nursing, you're still gonna be helping patients. You just may not have to do it hands-on.
Yes, because I get that. Yeah, you just have to. Well, sir, I thank you for coming to sit on my comfy chair and doing my interview. If you guys like this video, if you want to see more interviews from my friends, like it's a good insight just for me. Like, because you never know what you find. Like, you know, you have friends, you talk to them, you know, they're going through school to whatever, you know, higher education, and you just don't know that road they took. They tell you bits and pieces, but not until you sit down and you get into deep details in, like, interviews like this. But I thank you for being my first nurse interview, and I appreciate it. I really do. He did an awesome job. So give this video a thumbs up if you like. Subscribe to my channel. The button down there. Yeah, it's red or something like that.
Yeah.
But thank you. Bye. Mwah.